Hi, Democrats. Today is Friday, December 1st. It is already December. Where did 2023 go? So today is Friday, December 1st. I want to do kind of a wrap up of all the things that we talked about this week because it was a busy week. Yesterday, we had Representative Mickey Dollins on to talk about some of the bills that he plans to put forth for consideration in the next legislative session, and they were some really great ones. There was one that he intends to put forth that expands the amount of time that we can collect signatures for petition initiatives, which is great. The way that it works now is the time is so compact that petitioners are usually concentrated in places where there are a lot of people, leaving out the voices of rural Oklahoma. And this will give them time to go out and educate, give folks a chance to think about it, and actually collect enough signatures statewide. So that's a really great thing. Then another law he talked about was the Good Samaritan law, which is if you happen to be with someone who is overdosing and you start performing life-saving measures, you call an ambulance and the ambulance and the police shows up. With the Good Samaritan law, what would happen is you wouldn't get arrested if you happen to have drugs in your system or drugs on your person if you're trying to save someone's life. And one of the big things that the representative mentioned, which I thought was kind of great, was this isn't about condoning drug use. This isn't about spreading drug use. This is about expanding the will to help other people. Excuse me, because the way the system works now, folks are less inclined to help because they're afraid that they might get arrested. So those were two of the ones that I thought were pretty great bills that are the kinds of bills that we know Democrats to put forth, bills that actually affect the lives of everyday Oklahomans that are relevant to what is going on in Oklahoma and not some bill that an out-of-state organization told him to put up, which is what we have in our supermajority. Additionally, we talked about the loss of First Lady Rosalynn Carter, and we're still feeling that loss. And I'm going to go ahead and piggyback on that. So this week we celebrated the life of Rosalynn Carter. We celebrated the life of Bishop Carlton Pearson. And then folks keep dying, I guess, as the way. Yesterday, we lost Henry Kissinger. And today, it was announced that Sandra Day O'Connor, the first woman justice, passed away at the age of 93. Henry Kissinger was 100, by the way. So it's just, there's a lot as we transition out of 2023 that we all need to take a minute and absorb. Yesterday was the last day of Native American Heritage Month, but not the last day to engage with Native Americans, their history, their heritage, and its impact on us as a nation. But now we're in December. But I want to talk a little bit about Native American Heritage Month. Our governor, who hasn't met a fight with the tribes that he won't pick, decided to layer on top of Native American Heritage Month, Family Month. So, Lord, there was no explanation for it except that he wanted Oklahoma to be a top 10 state for families. He didn't talk about any legislation to get us out of the bottom 5 of education, the bottom 5 of outcomes for children, the bottom 5 of outcomes for women, the bottom 5 of outcomes in maternal death rates and infant mortality rates. None of that, right? We're talking about families. It was just an opportunity for him to once again don a costume, take pictures, and say that he's doing something. And yesterday, he did something that I would categorize as reprehensible. I want to show a picture. This is a photo of our governor yesterday with a child with a costume headdress, I guess is what I'm going to call it, a costume headdress. It feels like a mockery of a whole culture, That's all I'm going to say. I just wanted to put it up here so that you guys could see it. I had to see it and be horrified. And so I wanted to share the joy and let you see it. My goodness. So thank goodness we've moved past his fake family month. I don't understand what the heck is happening there, but that's a thing. So today on national news, George Santos. How many are tired of hearing about George Santos? Well, today the Congress. I don't have a problem with him in drag. Today, the Congress voted to expel him. So there have been three different votes with regards to expelling him, three different votes, and each vote, Congress folks had issues about whether or not we were acknowledging the fact that he was duly elected, whether or not we were acting on, um, folks were just mad. But the ethics report came in, and it was pretty damning that he was using money that he raised for his campaign for things that were clearly not to benefit the campaign. I'm not going to list them because that just goes more and more. But Republicans were on board, and some of them led the charge. And this is a place that was actually bipartisan, right? Or nonpartisan. This was a place where actually both sides of the aisle recognized that we cannot condone behavior becoming on this level. Now, it will be interesting to see because this week he's been threatening. If y'all expel me, I'm going to tell your secrets. I don't want to get into all of that, but we're gonna. I just wish that all levels of government, including our Congress, would be focused on doing things that improve our lives. And I think having someone that everybody clearly is aware um, lied to get there, cheated to get there, having him gone, having a special election kind of allows a reset. So let's hope that things work out the way they should work. Um, I should be talking about our superintendent of public instruction, but I think you guys know how much I hate to do it. But I have to so that we don't get desensitized. I have to keep pointing out what is going on so that it doesn't fall to the back where we're not talking about it and where we're not thinking about it. Our superintendent of public instruction, who wanted to up the budget so he could have some money to hire someone to book him on national speaking engagements. Our superintendent of public instruction, who's spending money on someone to schedule him, someone to basically hold his hand. When I'm looking for how is he spending money that's going to benefit students of public schools. Um, so this week, he's talking tough about how he's going to tie accreditation to a school might lose its accreditation if the students don't perform at 50% of grade level. Now, on the surface, op-ed writer, I forgot about the op-ed writer, for the love of God. On the surface, we all want our students performing at 90 to 100% of grade level. That's what we want. Those of us who don't have kids, folks who have kids, we all want our students performing at or above just the basic level. But you cannot go from where we are today to outstanding at a blink of an eye without investments in real organization, without support. And what's happening is our superintendent of public instruction is spending all of his time attacking Tulsa public schools. There are something like 268 school districts, but he's spending an inordinate amount of time attacking Tulsa public schools because he wants to take it over. He saw another district in Houston where they got to take it over and they're running the school, and he wants to do that because it looks cool. That's the only explanation I can come up with, because it's not because he has any concern about making sure that public schools are performing, making sure that public schools have the resources that they need, making sure that public schools are fully educating our students on a full history, because he hasn't talked about that. I do not presume to guess what he's thinking. But you can tell by what a person cares about, by what they spend their money on and what they talk about. And he is not talking about offering resources to underperforming schools. Not at all. He's not talking about making sure that all of our students have equal opportunity no matter what their zip code is. He's not. And so I make the assumption because he's not talking about it and he's not providing resources, that's not what he cares about. What he cares about is somebody to ghostwrite for him so that he can get in the paper and he can get on TV. What he cares about is someone to make sure that he can get on TV. Those are his priorities because he's come up with a plan and he's asking for money, resources. He's talking about it and he's trying to get resources. That's what he cares about. I had a whole bunch of other stuff I wanted to talk about. I needed to talk about when it comes to him. I don't want to because he does the things that he does so that we talk about him. He does the things that he does so that he can get eyeballs and clicks and perhaps scheduled on Newsmax. I don't want to help him do that. I made you guys a promise during the summer, and I'm going to keep it up. Every time I talk about him, I want to make sure that I am making sure to share with you how he's not doing his job, how he is derelict in his responsibilities. No one is talking about the reduced number of grants. No one is talking about that we have no idea if a school is going to be funded all the way through. He is derelict in his duty. He's looking to spend more of our taxpayer dollars to fight for St. Isidore, which is the Catholic private school that wants public dollars. He wants to spend public dollars to fight to get more public dollars. We already lost that fight once as a state. He wants to spend more money relitigating it rather than spending more money getting resources. So many there right now, I believe that schools have $75,000 of debt with regards to outstanding debt with regards to students paying for their breakfasts and lunch. $75,000 in debt. And we're going to continue to add to it because we're going to continue to ask those students who can't pay for lunch, we're just going to keep adding to their bill. What if we pass some sort of bill, legislation, policy that if a student can't pay for breakfast, we figure out a way that we don't just we take money out of the school's budget, that we figure out a way to make it happen. We figure out a way because studies have shown students can't learn when they're hungry. What if we talked about things like that instead of how he can get on national news, how he can be on stage in California, how he can be in the newspaper more because someone is writing his press releases. I don't want to talk about the things that he wants us to talk about, all of his buzzword nonsense. I want to talk about how we improve our schools. I want to remind you that he's derelict in his duty. Now, shifting from him. Superintendent of Public Instruction, derelict in his duty. Governor of our state sees nothing wrong with posing with a child in a costume headdress during Native American History Month. And a Republican congressman spending campaign funds on OnlyFans, on $600 shoes. You become what you condone. And from a state level to a congressional level, there's corruption and a lack of focus on the job that they have. Which is why, you knew I was coming to it, why we must focus on electing more Democrats. We must focus on electing more Democrats, and not just because voice of the Democratic Party here, but because we need balance in our legislature. We need someone, we need balance. We need checks and balances. We need for the majority to consider the minority when they're putting up bills, right? We need the minority to be able to affect whatever legislation comes on the floor. And the only way that happens is if we elect more Democrats and bring more balance to our legislature. So we're thinking about running. It's not too late. Reach out. If you know somebody who should run, it's not too late. Have them reach out. Now's the time to be deciding to run, so that we are bringing more Democrats to our state legislature. I want to send a shout out. Hello, Angela. Hello, Dorothy. Hello, Leela. Thank you so very much for joining. Those are the only names that I can see right now in my little compacted window. Thank you so very much for joining. You all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll be back here Monday at 4:15.